Greatness is not faceless. Greatness has a face.
Issues in and around Nigerian, African, and by extension the world. My name is Godwin Sunday. In Nigeria's evolving political space, new alignments and party structures continue to shape the conversation ahead of the 2027 elections. The National Democratic Congress, I beg your pardon, the Nigerian Democratic Congress, is one of the new opposition platforms gaining attention in recent months. Well, while it's still building its structures and national reach, the party has recently come into sharper focus following reports of political realignment and the involvement of high-profile political actors ahead of the next election cycle. A key moment for the party was its recent national convention in Abuja, where discussion centered on internal organization, leadership structure, and its broader direction going forward. The convention is widely seen as part of effort to position the party for greater relevance in the emerging political landscape. However, questions remain about how deeply rooted the party is, how united its internal structure, and whether it can sustain momentum beyond the current political excitement. Tonight on Korero, we'll take an overview of the Nigerian Democratic Congress Convention, looking at what emerged and what it signals politically and what it could mean for Nigeria's opposition space ahead of 2027. Joining me tonight on Korero is Barrister Kingdom Okerendc, NDC stakeholder, and also Chief M.O. Shittu, who is the NDC chairman of Kwara State. And this gentleman will help us put all of these issues to rest tonight. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Well, we'll begin tonight by first even looking at the whole NDC convention. But first, let me welcome you, Barrister Kingdom, to Korero. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, presenter. Good evening, Nigerians. Good evening, wherever you're viewing from. The world is now a global community. So
All
you
right.
can view from online. We're on YouTube live.
Yeah, so let's even begin the conversation by first, for many that don't even know, that are not familiar with the NDC, what exactly is the Nigerian Democratic Congress? What is it all about? And what is the origin, the structure, and overall political identity?
Well, the NDC is Nigerian Democratic Congress. The NDC was registered via a court order, an order of the Federal High Court, that looked at the merit of the case, that was filed before the Federal High Court, that sat in Lokoja, after the promoters of the party believe that they have complied with the requirements, the constitutional and statutory requirements, for INEC to register political parties. And during that period too, I had also applied to register two political parties, the Green Future Party and the PPA, that is Patriotic People's Alliance. And we went through the hurdles of procedures of party registration, and at the end, INEC issued a notice of non-registration. So the promoters of NDC, at a point, while we had applied, of course, INEC shortlisted 14 political associations, that they had wanted to register. So NDC is among that 14 political associations. So at a point, the promoters of NDC felt that they have complied with constitutional provision and that they were not comfortable with what INEC was doing, and they went to court and they got judgment, and the judgment was in favor of the promoters, and that is the reason for NDC today as a registered political party. And INEC has complied with the terms of that judgment, by issuing NDC a certificate of compliance. So the party is under the leadership of the former governor of Bayelsa State, Henry Seraki, who is the leader, who is also a leader, means that amongst the promoters, because of course he's not the only person, that will be registered as a trustee of the party. So the constitution has made requirements, that every political parties must have their national officers and national leaders, spread across, the 36 states of the federation. So Seraki Dixon is the leader of the party, and they are the promoters. What they are called is promoters at the stage of registration. And the vision, the ideology behind the political party is service. That is also the slogan of the party, service. They believe that leadership or political office, should be for service, to serve the people. So, in other words, wherever you found yourself, whether as a governor, as a president, as a senator, you should use the office for which you have been elected or you have been appointed into to serve the people. So that is the ideology of the party. Service to the people.
All right. So let me even look at this. Let's look at the structure of the party. The NDC is a new political party, but on the lips of a lot of Nigerians right now is the question of the question around NDC coming on the ballot. Does the NDC have a structure?
Are you not aware that between Saturday, the second, was it second? The 2nd of May, and Sunday, the 3rd of May, when Peter B and Rabbi Musa Kwankwaso joined the NDC. Please cross-check last, not yesterday. Not the
9th of May. Before that, so that should be around 2nd of May.
Yeah. Are you not aware that between last Saturday they declared on Sunday, but between Saturday and Sunday when they declared, and then the Monday of it, over 11 million people have registered in the NDC, and these are not ghost members. These are people that registered verified name. NDC, when I registered for ADC, even my name was not verified. I mean, ADC registration, as you got to the stage where you put your name number, it's going to bring out your original picture, the original picture that you were captured when you registered for your name. But
the party have the structure to secure the ballots. It's not about the 11 million. Does the party have the structure to secure the ballots?
Those 11 million people have wards, they have local governments, they have polling units, they are where they come from. I'm telling you, 11 million people nationwide, and they're still talking about structure. Peter B himself is a mobile political party, it's a mobile structure. So both of them have this similar traits, and qualities. They have this, but the name that is now popular, organic. I don't like to use when a word has been so overused, so I don't like, but I'm tempted to also, go on that hurdle, organic followership. Both of them have, that followership. So I'm telling you, verified membership.
Since you've taken us, yeah.
These people, I'm just giving you example. No. INEC themselves have verified it, that they have never seen in the history of Nigeria's political party where party registered almost 11 million people in 2 days. I'm talking about verifiable membership with name. National identity
Barrister
number.
Kingdom, since you've taken us to...
you can't even complete the
registration. Excuse me. All right, please go ahead.
I said you can't complete the registration process if you don't log in your national identity number, and it will be verified. And when it's verified, it will bring out the original picture that was captured of you when you register for the national identity number. So I'm telling you, these people, these 11 million people, between that day and today, we're talking about over 60 million people now, members of ADC. I'm not talking about the market women, I'm not talking about the artists, I'm not talking about the ordinary Nigerians that don't want to belong to a political party that are ready and waiting to see P2B in the ballot box and thumbprint.
So, but as it stands today,
because they believe,
well, as it stands today, does the NDC have the structure as it stands today?
I've just told you this.
You've talked about numerical number. Now, I'm asking that. Let me land. Well, Barrister Kingdom, let me submit. Now, if you go by the figures, about 6,101,000. Peter Obi got about 6,101,000 votes in the last concluded 2023 election. We saw Kwankwaso also getting about 1,496,000 votes thereabout in. the 2023 election. Now, putting these two forces together, you said that Peter Obi is an organic structure in itself.
Both of them have that similar.
Well, so they have similar, but then that did not translate into winning the election. Peter Obi only won about 11 states. Kwankwaso won just one state. Now, looking at all of this, one of the things that play out for a lot of Nigerians at that 2023 was that there was no structure within the Labour Party as at then it was in Labour Party. So that's why I'm curious at this point. If we're talking about the ballot, does the NDC, Nigerian Democratic Congress, right now, have a formidable structure that can withstand and contest and win any election right now in Nigeria?
Well, I've told you that there's massive...
You're talking about the numbers.
Well, I've told you that there's massive surge, into the ADC membership, and these are human beings, that live in various communities, that came from various polling units, and of course, the things that were not done right, in 2023 will be done right in 2027. So it calls for concern. There are several polling units, where Peter Obi won, and there were never agents, that represented him, in those polling units. And of course, during the litigation at the Presidential Election Tribunal, it was also one of the issues, on which the members of the tribunals, that were grossly compromised, and financially induced, by the incumbent president, Barr, to deliver judgment, in his favor. They relied, so much on the fact, that Peter Obi was not able to produce, as much as from ECA 8A, which is the result at the very polling units. And of course, I'm saying that the things that were not done right in the Labour Party will be done right under the NDC, and the party leadership is working. Those of us that belong to the OK movement structure, we are working in synergy with them, to ensure that the various organs of the party, from the national to the very polling unit, is very well taken care of. And of course, there won't not just be only one agent. There will be several, agents and supporters, in various polling units, who will ensure that we get the result, that has been announced and signed and signed by the police officer at that polling unit, and of course, to sign and collect, his own duplicate result sheet. And the party is working on that seriously. I'm not exonerating the fact, I'm not trying to debunk the fact that there were lapses, in the 2023 election, and irrespective of those lapses too, Nigerians, made a statement. They came out en masse and voted for Peter Obi. And of course, that if the Peter Obi's votes were not stolen in Rivers State, by Nyesom Wike, whom the president, that was corruptly announced in the wee hours of the night, by the electoral bandit, Yakub Mahmoud, the former INEC boss. If he hadn't announced Tinubu as the winner of that election in the wee hours of the morning, as a result of Wike rewriting, holding INEC officials, on hostage in Rivers State, where he threatened to kill them, wrote the result of Rivers State. Peter Obi pulled over 1 million votes, genuinely casted votes, in Rivers State. So, and that is, of course, is the reason you see Tinubu has compensated him with a FCT minister and gave him all the freedom, to run the FCT the way. But
Barrister, do we have this on good records?
Well, they should hold me responsible. The court is open for anybody to sue for defamation. If you think what I've said is not, is your president not corrupt? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, doesn't he know that he's corrupt? Is it not him that induced Yakub Mahmoud to announce him as the winner of that election? Is Tinubu not a corrupt president? I am in court with him over the coastal highway that was awarded to a company where his son, Shittu Tinubu, is a director, a high-tech, over $16 billion. That was awarded without following due process, or without following the due process of the law, particularly observing, the provisions of the Procurement Act. Do we have a president that is upright? If we have a president that is not corrupt, you won't see corruption. You won't see the members of the National Assembly doing corruption. The president himself is the chief corrupter of the judiciary. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he knows that he's corrupt now. So if he feels that he's not corrupt, is he not? Didn't he forfeit millions of dollars in USA in drug related case?
But let's not jump the gun. Let's come back to
so we are
let's come back to the NDC convention.
I'm telling you that we know that, yes, there were areas Labour Party didn't do well. In 2020, we will do better. And I'm telling you that P2B won that election. El-Rufai had said it now. He confessed, that they rigged the 2020 presidential election.
Barrister, let's come back to NDC. Let's come back to NDC.
So NDC, like I'm saying,
let's come back to
we
NDC.
have structures, so we are building and consolidating on the structure.
All right. But then the convention. There are speculations that the NDC borrowed and rented crowd, and as such, the crowd that came out at Los Angeles on Saturday.
I just heard that from you.
Well, that's why I'm a journalist.
I just heard
that it was. But then let's look at the convention. Well, Barrister Kingdom, let's look at the convention. Well, Barrister Kingdom, let's look at the convention in itself. How will you assess the convention?
Oh, very well organized convention, devoid of acrimony, devoid of the usual godfatherism. People buy their ways, to even be national delegates in the parties like APC, PDP, all these parties. People buy their ways to be national. In fact, to be a national delegate is a big issue. But NDC has simplified it. The vision of the party is service to render corrupt-free, accountable leadership. That is service to Nigerian people, and they are following that, in its internal activities. They are trying to show that example that what we want to provide for Nigerian people is service. And of course, you see how the convention was organized with devoid of, acrimonies. The people that ought to be delegates came, and the convention was held peacefully. All the motions that were moved in the convention.
But the hall was occupied by a lot of persons that were not delegates.
The
hall was occupied by a lot of people that are not delegates of the party.
Because of the organic fellowship of our...
And you're saying it's not a rented crowd, as the speculations go.
And then I ask you, so where are the 11 million people that registered within 2 days?
So if the delegates are supposed to come for convention,
and now we have up to 16 million people.
If delegates are supposed to come for convention, and people that in that hall in Los Angeles, majority of them did not have tags with them, but yet they were in the hall.
Well,
yes.
Delegates were there. Delegates were seated. Some delegates that came late may not have been able to find their way into the main venue, into the hall, because of the crowd. Like I told you, our two leaders, P2B and Kwankwaso, they have organic fellowship, and that is exactly what you saw there. So most of the followers, most of the people that have voluntarily registered for NDC, came there in solidarity, and of course, so being party stalwarts, being the fans of our two leaders, whom we are hoping, God willing, they will flag the flag of the party in the 2027 presidential election. You don't need to start pushing anybody else. So what the security agencies did was to, as much as they could, try to talk to those of them that were not delegates, but then they are party members, they have registered, and they are religiously following these two men, that they believe that with them a new Nigeria will be possible. So the security agents and the private security guys there, the ones they usually call bouncers, so they tried as much as they could, to limit the number of followers who are not delegates. You must have to distinguish members of the party and followers who are delegates, and members of the party who are not delegates. The grassroots, the masses. So everybody mustn't be delegate, like I said. So but then these are party members. These are the foot soldiers of the party. That will go to the ward level, to the polling unit level. So you don't have to chase them out of the convention ground. So what happened that the crowd, was
not a rented crowd.
No, the crowd was very well managed. Rented crowd. I told you more than 16 million people have registered.
Let's talk about the convention. Barrister Kingdom, let's talk about the convention.
I told you that these people that registered, they have been verified.
You've put that issue. You've put the issue to rest. Let's talk about the convention in itself and some of the resolution that was reached.
Some people.
No, let's talk about the convention, Barrister Kingdom. Can we talk about the convention?
They go to buy people's name to register.
Well, can we talk
Members
about
into
can we talk about the convention in itself?
I'm telling you, people that voluntarily register by themselves.
The convention, a resolution was reached at that convention.
Very well.
And that one of those resolutions is that the presidency will be zoned to the south, while the office of the vice president will be zoned to the north. But looking at it, for a new political party, is this the right step in the right direction?
Very well. Because the Constitution has mandated every political party in Section 224 to comply with the provisions of Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution in all their programs and activities. So ask yourself, what is the major activity and program of a political party? A political party by Section 221 of the Constitution is the only association, is the only organization that is empowered by the government to sponsor, canvass, and put every citizen that is seeking for any political office at the executive and the legislative level into power. The composition of the government of the federation, the composition of the government as the government that Tinubu composed today began with APC primary election that happened at Eagle Square sometime in 2022. And that election came up in February 2023. And Tinubu was sworn in May 2023. The foundation of forming the government began with the primary election of the political party. That is what the Constitution has provided in Section 221. It's when people don't know the power of the political parties. That is the only institution that can put somebody in governance. So long as the 1999 Constitution is concerned.
So you're not worried that it's been zoned to the south.
That is what I'm trying to lay foundation.
So you're laying the foundation.
As there is no provision in the Constitution that allows for independent candidacy. So now, I said that Section 224 of the 1999 Constitution mandates that political parties must observe the provisions of Chapter 2 of the Constitution. Then, one of the most important provisions of Chapter 2 of the Constitution is the provision of Section 14, subsection 3 and 4. That has to do with federal character principle. That says that the composition of the government of the federation and the composition of the government of the state should be carried out in such a manner as to recognize the diversity of the people, reflects the principles of federal character, and to avoid predominance of people or group of people or one person from a particular ethnic group or a particular sectional group or religious group in the government and in the affairs of the government, and to give the peoples of the federation sense of belonging and to command national loyalty. That is the summary of Section 14, subsection 3 and 4. And some lawyers will tell you Chapter 2 are non-justiciable provisions. That has to do with the fundamental principles, fundamental objectives and principles of the government. Whereas in that same Constitution, there are several other provisions that has made the application of Section 14, subsection 3 and 4 mandatory, like Section 224. The only program a political party has is to sponsor a candidate to contest election. If they win that election, they form the government. Like the APC sponsored Bola Ahmed Tinubu at their convention. People were thinking that it's a joke. When Tinubu emerged as a candidate, Peter Obi emerged as a candidate, Atiku emerged as a candidate. That is the foundation of forming any government. If Peter Obi had won, a Labour Party would have formed that government. So that is the foundation of forming a government, either at the federal level or at the state level. So by virtue of Section 224, that foundation of forming the government must comply with the provisions of Chapter 2, and particularly the provisions of Section 14, subsection 3 and 4. You know, politicians are mischief makers. They like to make mischief because the drafters of the 1999 Constitution has not made a provision to say presidency of this country shall rotate to in the siege geopolitical zone in the following order, which several lawmakers, even in this current 10th Assembly, is that what they are called, 10th Assembly, has also proposed amendment to the Constitution to have this presidency rotated. But mischief politicians will always kick against it because they don't want that presidency to get to a particular region, particularly the southeast. I don't know why they are so uncomfortable with it. But nobody stays in the pit forever, you know. When it is time, when the Israelites were in Egypt for how many years? When it was time for God to take them out, from slavery, God raised a man called Moses, and he led them out of Egypt. So I'm not here to instigate ethnic for ethnic sentiment or whatever. What I'm telling you is that there are constitutional bases to zone.
Well,
I'm telling you,
yeah,
there are constitutional bases to zone the presidency.
Also,
of the
the outcome of that convention.
Leverage. I want to conclude.
All right, please.
You ask me.
Please submit, please.
So now, leveraging on this constitutional basis, particularly Section 224 that has mandated political parties to comply with Chapter 2 of the Constitution, NDC did what is absolutely right by agreeing to the fact that the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should remain in the southern part of the country for at least the next 4 years. And P2B has come out to say severally that I can fix this country or lay the foundation, solid foundation that will fix this country that can be sustained and built upon by whoever that takes over from me in 4 years, even in 2 years. The 4 years is too long. Because when you are not corrupt,
this is the second conversation which I was coming to, because your party have said South is going to do 4 years. NDC have said that the party would do the South will do 4 years.
I absolutely agree.
And the power will return to the North.
Yes.
Then the North will do 4 years. So that's if the candidate, if NDC wins the presidential election. But then let's even bring this to you. Will your party still stand if Peter Obi is not given the ticket of the NDC?
Will the party still stand if Peter Obi is not given it? Like I told you, unless there are...
Especially now that power has been zoned too.
That's what South. I'm telling you. So, that whether my party will still stand,
yes,
if Peter Obi is not given the NDC ticket. Like I told you, I'm the national legal advisor of the OK movement and a staunch member and media team of Obedient movement. I'm telling you that Peter Obi is a mobile political party. For those of us that believe that a new Nigeria is possible.
Although Peter Obi has been expelled from the Obedient movement. All right, but let's not go to that conversation. Let's keep it as it is.
Where is the charlatan?
Let's keep it as it is.
I'm telling you that I don't even have to envisage whether or not Peter Obi will be given NDC ticket or not. Peter Obi automatically should be the flag bearer of the party, should be formalized. There have been negotiations and talks and negotiations before he finally announced his entry alongside his political associate, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso. There have been meetings and negotiations before they finally announced the entry on that 2nd or 3rd of May 2026. But peradventure, politicians being mischief makers, if there are also mischief makers in NDC, where we have found ourselves, and if they want to do their mischief, like I told you, P2B is a mobile political party, and I'm telling you, once there is no constitutional and statutory inhibition that can stop him from getting the ticket of any other political party that will be ready to put him on the ballot paper, peradventure, like you said, I don't know if you said that, like I said that there have been talks and negotiations before he announced his membership. But peradventure, if it happens that there are mischief makers in the NDC that want to do otherwise, I'm telling you, once there is no constitutional limitation or any statutory limitation that will hinder him from joining another political party, if he moves, the crowd will follow him. So
does this mean that power zoning to the South automatically means that the OK ticket is automatic?
That's what I've told you.
Automatic.
There must have been negotiations and talks before they finally announce their entry into the NDC. So I don't want to envisage that any mischief maker will now come out tomorrow to say P2B will not be getting the presidential ticket of the NDC. But I'm telling you, peradventure, if it happens, and you will look at it alongside his media legal team, we look at it, there is no legal, constitutional limitation to move into any other political party that will put him on the ballot box. I'm telling you that it's a mobile political party. The way you've seen that number of such that registered in NDC, you will also see it, in only of such other political party. But I'm telling you that I'm cocksure that there were negotiations and meetings behind closed doors, before they announced their entry into NDC. And such negotiations and meetings, like I said, I wouldn't be expecting that there will be any mischief maker in the NDC that would want to, go the contrary.
Let me hold your thought there. We'll take a short break right now. When we return, we will talk more, even on the issue around the NDC convention. Please go nowhere. Welcome back. Well, we've been joined right now by Chief M.O. Shittu. Chief, it's a delight to have you at Kwara.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, Chief, we're discussing the issue around the convention. Now, there's two things that are striking, even at the convention venue. The first is that most activists have decided to pick the form of the party to run for various offices. And a lot of Nigerians are asking at this point, is the NDC made up of activists, or activists have chosen NDC as a bedrock political party for them to run?
Thank you. And sincerely speaking, when we look at activism, it's not about you fighting for fundamental rights for those who are oppressed, but it's about you fighting for the right thing to be done, fighting for the country to have a good governance in place. And we have observed I'm an activist as well. We have observed over time we decided not to go into politics. And those who have into politics, those who have into government are taking us for granted. They have turned our resources into a national care that they felt is their birthright. So, and if you cannot beat them, you join them. So we need to send all this cabal out of the system. It is never a crime that being an activist, it doesn't stop you from exercising your fundamental human right democratically. So contesting is a right that every citizen has.
So automatically,
so now it is a battle.
Yeah.
You understand? It's not just about activism. We cannot continue to have this Nigeria, the one we are having today, where we keep on living on debt, where we keep on living on a very high level of insecurity. People are being kidnapped, people are being killed. Just think of any bad thing you can say. Nigeria top the list in the whole world. And you want us to fold our hands and say, because you are activists, you understand? If it is to go into the rec chamber and hold those who are supposed to be held responsible, we'll hold them responsible. If it is to go into state government, we'll go into those places so that we ensure we get the right thing to be done at the right time, so that Nigerian poor masses will get the dividend of democracy. This is the beauty of a good governance.
Well,
and this is what we have seen in NDC, and that is why we see a lot of them coming into NDC.
Barrister Kingdom is an activist. He has championed the cause of the obedient movement for a while. And activism flows in his blood. Yourself, activism flows in your blood, going by the whole likes of Peter Randy, Aisha Yusufu. They've gone to join the NDC, several other activists. So we can now say that the NDC is a party for the activists, by activists, and for activists.
No.
Can we be right to say so?
No. And this is for everybody.
It's for everybody.
For all patriotic Nigerians, for those who love Nigeria as a country, for those who want to see a new Nigeria that will work for everybody. I don't have to be a serving senator. I don't have to be a sitting governor. I don't have to be a president before my daughter or my son, who is a graduate, will secure a job. You understand? This is the country we want. We want a country where each and individual will go to any basic care center, any general hospital, get basic treatment, free of charge. You understand? We want every Nigerian where children will have access to education, quality educations. It is not everybody that can afford to send their children to private schools. And when you look at what you have on seat, most governors in Nigeria today turn the Senate to their retirement home. After 8 years at the helms of the state governors, they move into the red chamber. This can no longer continue. We can't continue to run this country this way.
Let's even get Barrister Kingdom to even talk about this. You disagree that the ADC should not be called, the NDC, I beg your pardon, should not be called the party. If
you want to call
the party for the activists, and by activists, and for activists.
Like you said, activists have been advocating for a good Nigeria. just 2-3 months ago, I held tear gas with some of you journalists at the entrance of the National Assembly. What were we talking about? Pass the bill. There should be electronic transmission. What offense did I commit? 2 months before that, a few months before that, I held tear gas at Utakopa because I joined Showore in demanding that Nnamdi Kanu should be released. And I was picked up, locked up in Kuje prison for 2 weeks. Today I'm still standing trial. And what is the charge? That public disturbance. Whereas the IG himself, the illegal IG that was in office, that was disgraced out of office by the man who perpetrated him in office, you know, is the one that perpetrated the public disturbance, because he went to court to get an order that this protest should not cross to 3-arm zone. And he still sent his men to chase us almost to Tako. It was Tako part of the 3-arm zone, to unleash mayhem and throw tear gas canisters on us. You know, so we've been talking, we've been advocating. We are part of the End Bad Governance protest. Was it last year, August?
August,
2 years,
yes.
August. That also ended up in chaos. They threw tear gas on us. Then Igwe was the CP of FCT. All these things are on the media. Google them. So we've been advocating, we've sacrificed so much to make, and now we've realized that you have to be there. If Obi had men of credibility, you know, that ran with him in Labour Party, these 4 years that only him has been the lone voice criticizing, talking about good governance, do you think that those men in the Red Chamber wouldn't have added their voice, you know? And what have they done? Most of them, they come to APC. They collected SUG Jeep of over 150 million naira when there's no functional health center in their constituencies. So if I go to Senate, if I go to House of Rep now, the first thing you offer me is Jeep. I will stand up in the plenary and blow it up. Now that's not why I'm here. I can ride on my Camry car. I can ride on my I can buy a Tokumba car of 10 million. And is it not to drive to National Assembly? When the health center in my constituency is not functional, we'll blow it up now. We'll ask for the company that got the contract now. You see, we're going there to change. We are going there to change the country. So, like you see me in the National Assembly now. You now part budget when I'm there. It's not possible. We'll blow it up now. After the plenary, we're going to address the press. It's not going to happen.
Well,
it will not happen.
Well, it's quite interesting.
So we're going to correct it from the inside.
It's quite
not
interesting.
From the side.
It's quite interesting. Let me even bring this to Chief Shittu. Looking at this whole 4-year thing and looking at the issue of trust, can Nigerians trust the NDC in its rotational policy of 4 years to the south, 4 years to the north?
You see, one, the truth is, the party, it is not party that really matters. Be it whatever, I call it A, B, C, Z, Y, Z party. But what matters are the personalities of individuals that make up a party. You understand? When you look at the NDC, who are those that make up the NDC? You understand? The poor masses of Nigeria, the patriotic citizens of Nigeria, those who want a better Nigeria, a working Nigeria. Then when we have all these people in place, we have them in actions, and they're ready to put their support behind NDC, then the sky is our limit. You understand? It is not it is a must. Peter Obi is a man that keeps to his word. He's a man of principle, highly respected for that. And Peter Obi will not tell you he will spend 4 years.
He's a human being. You think he will not renege on his promise?
He's a human being.
You think he will not renege on his promise?
If that happens,
he's the most trusted politician.
We'll criticize him.
Yeah.
And I don't see
that is what the Obedient movement is meant for.
I don't see him ridiculing himself.
Yeah.
He will not renege on his promise. He's first a human being, then he's a Nigerian, then he's a politician. You say you can take his word to the bank.
We can't get this government on trust and betray the trust.
Yeah.
No. I don't. Let's not go there.
And let me boast your brain.
Let's not go there. Don't be afraid. Don't go there.
Let me boast your brain. Do you know why Peter Obi was in the ADC? He did sign a MOU memorandum of
that he was going to do one time.
Duly signed by SANS. That is only doing. In fact, he did.
He said that
undertook that he will hand over the government come May 2031. Duly signed, stamped, sealed by SANS. You understand? This is a man of his principle. He's the first person to have done that in the history of this country. You understand? So when you have somebody who have credible records, then why should we continue to troll our country into the hands of those cabals that are wholly there just to exhaust and to Nigeria is bigger than any cabal.
They borrow.
But then I had Peter. Gentlemen,
he said Nigeria is not poor.
Gentlemen, gentlemen, looking at the reality on ground, activists are rising up to the occasion of even wanting to take rule at their firm,
to take activism to the forefront of the
to even champion the cause of leadership in the country. But the question is, how ready are members of the NDC for leadership?
We are about to ready.
They are ready.
We are about to ready.
They are ready.
Inexperienced, unprofessional.
My brother,
Yeah.
who is in
Across
this?
board.
Looking at most of the activists, they've never occupied public office.
And
They just been on social
the
media,
people that are-
and of
the
course,
people-
but then already
people that are- the people that occupy
party
public
already are party members to even the
Now,
NDC.
let's quickly have it this way.
Please.
Nigeria is the only country in the whole world where you see a graduate with distinction, university graduate, selling popcorn on the roadside or as an Uber driver, and you see a school start failure.
as
who
a
could not
director,
even, not even as a director, as a sitting governor,
Director
as a
of civil
sitting
service.
senator, a school start
he can't
failure.
write his name, a director.
But you see young graduates who have their first, second degree roaming about the street looking for what they could not be provided with job. They'll tell them your age is, you are over age, 30 years, you can no longer apply. But we see men of 60 years, 70 years, 80 years coming with their fake result. This is Nigeria. We've seen a president who they said, even if na NEPA result he get, they want them. There's no any country in the world that will take such shit.
Even the Supreme
And
Court,
that has come to an end in Nigeria. We will no longer allow that to
even the
work.
Supreme Court validated affidavit that said I lost my
Result.
my primary school result with
God,
the Nigerian military. The Supreme Court said yes. It doesn't matter. That affidavit is enough.
So,
Supreme Court of Nigeria. I'm talking about the late President Muhammadu Buhari. Is it?
Well,
it's a very shameful thing.
well,
if I have my child well trained and the child came out with a very good result, making me proud as a parent, and at the end of the day, securing a job becomes a problem. But you now see somebody who have every parallel in work or who could not even defend his O-level result, coming out to contest as House of Rep, as senator, or as governor. Do you understand? We keep on running after such domains, and we want to believe their political leaders.
Let's even come back to this convention, because I understand our time is fast spent. Some of the resolutions that have been reached in the convention, will it stand the test of time?
Definitely. It's a must.
Or to further expand the cracks within Nigerian political
just a few seconds
space?
ago.
Yeah.
I said NDC is made of people who are patriotic, people who are trustworthy, people who have a very good record. When you go into their record, then you find out that there are people of high calibers whom you can be trusted, who can be entrusted with power. You understand? NDC is not a party where we have political fraudulent individuals who come and manipulate things.
And you're sure that if given the opportunity, the NDC will be able to even address the current economic and political challenges, especially if it becomes a stronger national force.
In less than 6 weeks, let it be common seat. In less than 6 weeks, the whole Nigeria will celebrate it. The whole world will celebrate it.
You speak,
that I assure you.
Yourself and Barrister Kingdom speak highly.
Let it be on record.
Yourself and
in
Barrister
just
Kingdom.
less than 2 months, we'll see Nigeria working.
Well, yourself and Barrister Kingdom speak highly of Peter Obi, but
because
then
it's what, yes.
we will be monitoring the situation to see how it plays out.
You can go and verify the records are there.
Well, we will definitely verify. But on this note, I want to say thank you so much, Chief Shittu, for finding that time to be with us here on Kwara.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you so much, Barrister Kingdom, for being with us here on Kwara.
Well done. I appreciate it.
Well, viewers, how far we can go tonight on Kwara. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your comments on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the RapidTV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your night rest. Bye for now.